13 standing ovations for the Prime Minister in that 60-minute long speech at the US Congress, and that itself speaks volumes of how his speech, how his address has been received. Personal touches in several parts of the speech, peppered with jokes, but an overarching message, a message that these are two democracies that matter and two democracies that deliver. You can see the bonhomie, the warmth on your screens there as Prime Minister Modi is interacting with the senators, all of them shaking hands. Some of them I noticed even taking autographs of Prime Minister Modi. And I don't think ever before has Capitol Hill resounded with chants of Modi, Modi, or Bharat Mata Ki Jai. That is the impact of the man you see on your screens as he entered into the US Congress there with chants of Modi, Modi, and ending also with those chants. I'm very curious to know what the reaction was to all of those slogans being raised, and so we're going to be connecting with my colleagues Rahul and Geeta on the ground in just a bit. Gaurav Sawant is with me, and Gaurav, look at those pictures. How the congressmen and congresswomen are swarming around Prime Minister Modi, many of them taking his autograph, as you see there.
The Indian voters matter, the Indian American voters matter, and they know Prime Minister Narendra Modi is extremely popular amongst the Indian Americans. They've seen the Prime Minister spoke of it a short while back when he said, the gates of the White House were open for the first time for so many Indian Americans to witness history. And this truly is Indian-American relationship being taken to the next level, Akshita. Very, very important points made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in this 1 hour long address at the US Congress, especially the aspect you raised, the points that you raised. Democracies matter, democracies deliver. And he gave instances of India's story. And isn't it remarkable? He spoke of India's achievements on the world stage here.
You know, I must say that when I first heard those chants of Modi, Modi, all the cheering, all of that, I always assumed it was just the Indian American senators there. But look at those images on your screens. Those are American senators, American congressmen and congresswomen who've right now swarmed to the Prime Minister, who are taking his autographs, getting a chance, trying to go ahead and shake hands with Prime Minister Modi. And that really tells you about how the relationship has progressed to this level now, that the Prime Minister's speech is followed by him spending considerable amount of time within the hall, interacting, meeting members of the House, signing autographs on those booklets that were distributed with copies of the Prime Minister's speech. So it's quite amazing to really see those images, because it really tells you the weightage that's being given right now to the Indian-American story, the weightage that's being given to the Prime Minister's visit right now. To you, Gaurav, what really was the highlight of the Prime Minister's speech? For me, personally, it was all of the jokes, the personal touch that he gave. But what was it for you?
So many points that the Prime Minister raised. When he mentions the India story is very, very important, and very important for the world to know. The fact that he spoke that when he was last here in 2016, India was the 10th largest economy, and now we are the 5th largest economy, soon to be the 3rd largest economy. So that's a great achievement. Then the two democracies, their shared values, and what's extremely important, the moment India's aerospace industry grows. Now, when you talk about, the deal with Boeing, when so many, Boeing aircraft are being bought by India, and those are passenger aircraft, or when the GE 414 engines of General Electric, if they are made in India, there are jobs that are created in the United States of America. So this is this is mutually beneficial friendship and relationship. That's something that all the congressmen and women, they actually realize, because their voters also benefit. They benefit. Jobs are created in America. Jobs are created in India. And democracy is kept safe from expansionist forces. I mean, what I was very happy about was the fact that he exposed China, an expansionist power in the Indo-Pacific, where he very specifically mentioned that, there are dark clouds of coercion and confrontation that are staring at us in the Indo-Pacific. And smaller countries need to feel safe. Sea lanes of communication need to be kept safe. So he exposes China. He also exposes, without naming Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamic terror when he mentions 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks and the fact that we're still fighting for justice.
Very true. And look at those pictures on your screens. We've progressed now from autographs to selfies with Prime Minister Modi. All the senators queuing up there to quickly click a picture with Prime Minister Modi before he makes his way out. There's another very, very important part of his schedule that's coming up, which is going to be the state dinner. The Prime Minister is expected there in about 2 hours from now, less than that actually, because we're running kind of close on his schedule now. You can see that he's still taking his time out. He's taking the time out to interact with all of the senators, all the congressmen and congresswomen who want a chance to take a picture with him, to interact with him, to shake hands with him, to sign autographs as well. And that tells you about the popularity of the Prime Minister. I must admit that when I first heard the chants of Modi, I saw all the standing ovations. I largely believed that it was triggered by the Indian Americans there in the US Congress. But clearly, it's also all of the American senators who are out there crowding around the Prime Minister. Geeta Mohan, a foreign affairs editor, is with us. Geeta, you were there when Prime Minister Modi was speaking. What's the mood been like around? Because I'm sure never before has the Capitol Hall building ever heard the chants of Modi, Modi.
Well, once before he has spoken over here, and yes, there was uproar then too, but none like the one we've seen this time around. Look at the resounding uproar, not just of the galleries where the Indian American community was seated, and prominent members who work very closely with India, but also from the house below, the senators as well as congressmen, all lawmakers. We're getting up to give him a standing ovation. I was counting myself. I could be wrong, but according to me, from the moment he started speaking, it was 12 times. And
14 in all, Geeta, 14 ovations. 15. Gaurav tells me it's 15.
Yes. 79 applauses, 15 standing ovations.
So I counted 14. About 12 when the entire house stood up to give him a standing ovation. And on 2 occasions, it was only the gallery, the Indian community, and the Indian Americans who stood up to give him a standing ovation. So 14 is what I've counted. Maybe Gaurav and I differ on the number, but that's the number. Quite a few times standing up and agreeing with Prime Minister Modi. The whole idea of a standing ovation indeed is the fact that they are getting up and agreeing with the Prime Minister on what he's saying. Most of them to do with India-US partnership, how to go forward, how to move forward, not an era of war, Russia-Ukraine, territorial integrity. These are key words to which everybody stood up and gave him a standing ovation. Also, there were those who've been critics of Modi in the House, Jayapala included, but she also stood up. She stood up when the House was clapping. She also did clap. So. It was a different atmosphere from how one viewed or one would have viewed. There were certainly apprehension whether if there are going to be people who would not stand up when the others stand up for a standing ovation. So we see that there is a moment over here where Prime Minister Modi is waving a goodbye to the members who are still inside the house. He's still inside the house. A lot of people taking photos with Prime Minister Modi, and some of them having a brief conversation, and he is indulging all of them. He's taking
Geeta,
time
just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. You're describing what's happening inside. Let's play that out live for our viewers. Briefly, we just heard again as the Prime Minister waved up to the galleries the chants of Modi, Modi. Last few senators, it looks like he's interacting with, signing their documents, signing pages for them before he makes his way out. From here, as I mentioned, he's going to be making his way for that state dinner as well. But you can see so many of them grabbing their phones, trying to get this opportunity to quickly grab a picture, click a picture with the Prime Minister. Some of them also having an interesting conversation, it looks like, with him about the speech, about some of the comments that he's made as well. But you can see there more selfies being